living sacrifice. I am your worship. Accept this living sacrifice. I am your worship. I am more than a song of God. Today I brought myself. I am your sacrifice. I am more than a song. Today I brought myself. I am your worship. Receive this living sacrifice. I am your worship. Accept this living sacrifice. I am your word. So we've come to draw, 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 draw from you again. Yeah, yeah. We have come to draw from your wells, from your wells. Draw from you again. Yeah, yeah. We have come to draw from your wells, Jesus. Draw from you again. Yeah. We've come to draw, 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 draw from you again. Yeah. Yeah. We have come to drink of your wells, of your wells. Draw from you again. Yeah. Yeah. We have come to draw. Jesus, Jesus, draw from you again. Yeah. I have more than a song. Today I brought myself. I am your sacrifice. I have more than a song. Today I brought myself. I am your worship. I have more than a song. Today I brought myself. I am your sacrifice. I am more than a song. Today I brought myself. I am your
Greetings, great people of God. It's always of a great honor to come your way. This is the Inside Studios, and you are watching The Virtuous Woman. Today, as promised, we get to talk about the social worker and parenting. There is a myth about the work of the social worker, and today, as promised the last time, by the grace of God, for giving us the opportunity to be here this afternoon, we want to clear that misunderstanding about the work of the social worker. And of course, if you have questions on what they do and all that, you can kindly share with us under the comment section. I am your host, Susie Osikeni Georges. And as I said, you are watching The Virtuous Woman. As you may already know, this is a program where we talk about issues of life concerning women. And we go into parenting, we go into health, anything to better our lives for today and for the future. To help me do this is a young woman, a young lady who is a social worker. She is joining me right from Angola. She will have the opportunity to tell us a bit about herself so that you also get to know her and what she does. She is not only into her profession as a social worker, but she is into ministry. She will tell us a bit about that. Don't go away. I would like to extend my great and sincere gratitude unto everyone, especially those as a family and even those who are watching us for the very, very first time. Join us every Sunday afternoon. Of course, you by all means see the poster when we are coming online. Otherwise, you also see us every Saturday, 6 p.m. as we bring to you Dining with the Word. And so join us as we welcome Our Lady Emanuela, joining us, as I said, right from Italy, Ancona. Lady Emanuela, you are so much welcome to the Inside Studios.
Thank you, Lady of God. And then also your husband as well. I'm grateful for this opportunity given unto me. So as you rightly said, I'm Mrs. Manuela Tupe, and then I'm a graduate social worker and co-founding REV.ALEX Foundation with my husband. So that's what we do. And temporarily doing translation here and there and all that in some offices that with my assistant. And we do a lot of stuff also as well, social work as well. So today, as you said,
can you tell us a bit about the organization you spoke about? Because I've seen it, ALEX Foundation. Can you tell us a bit about what you do exactly?
Okay, REV.ALEX Foundation, what we do is educate people and as well to enroll them in professional works. So as we know, let's say in Ghana, more like making of hair, sewing, media works, and then other aspects of it. So anything that can better people's life. So we go to the community, we study about the needs of the people, and then according to that, then we set a project that we raise funds for. So we have also sponsors, and then by God's grace, I'm my husband and then other people, they help out, and then we reach out into these people. And for 2 years, we were able to enroll about 30 people, young people, into different aspects of professional work. So ours is to pay for them to enroll themselves into what they want to train themselves into. And currently, we have like 25 people actively doing that. So one is into media, let's say photography, editing, videos. So we handle them to masters, as we say in Ghana. So we give them onto this masters and then we train them. So at the end of the year, then when the due time comes, they also become a boss of themselves. So that's what we do.
So are you doing it here in Italy or in Ghana?
No, here in Italy, we raise funds because it's not yet registered in Italy, and then we know the things that has to go through. So for now, we work in Ghana, but here we organize conferences. Then we get funds to do what we're doing in Ghana.
Wow! So if you are a young person out there and you are struggling with what to do, you know who to contact. She's not only a social worker, of course, that is a social work she's doing all by itself. And so you can contact Our Lady Emanuela from Ancona. If you want a contact, you can get into the Inside Studios and we will let you have it. Or you can also find her on Facebook. She's Emanuela Tofe. You can find on Facebook, and then she will give you the necessary help that you need. She spoke about raising funds. That is a huge job to do. You are doing a great job, Lady Manuela.
Same as well.
Yeah, and so we get into the reason why we are here. We want to talk about the work of the social worker. We have heard a lot of stories around. We ourselves are sometimes frightened about their work, and we don't even want to walk around their offices because we know we are doing something that is not okay and we might be found out. Today we get to clear that myth. They are an organization that you're already working with them, but you don't actually know that they are also under the social worker. Lady Manuela, please, you can take us through.
All right, thank you so much. And then your husband, it's a great privilege. So when you talk about a social worker, it's the someone that helps the society. So their job is to help prevent, back up a person, whether in a situation or before they get to a situation. So on these three things, that is to prevent, they have to give out some help, assistance. It can be finance, it can be programs, it can be, for example, as when someone is pregnant, they have this at the consultorio where they are guided to be a better mother or a better father. So this is like a form of help to prevent maybe children being abandoned or maybe children being left at the hospital after birth. So that is a practical example. And then when you say back up, for example, a divorcee mother or a father that has just a child and has to take care of the child, doesn't know how to go about it, is stressed and all that. So the social worker also comes to help the mother or the father, telling him or her that you can make it, you can go through it. Then when after maybe something has happened as well, maybe a child is being taken from a father or a mother, also they come in to help that parent to regain that authority as a parent or to maybe get the child back or to better their relationship as both parents or parents and then children. So this is what the social work does. And then you can find them at different places. So when you find them at the community, they mainly have the resources at hand. It could be money, it could be voucher for food, it could be maybe helping them to pay nursery school, helping them to buy accessory for school, or maybe like with the housing as well. They mostly do in that because they have the resources available. And then they organize the help that you can find in each and every community. So it's different from a city to a city. Maybe one city you can have more things, and then another city can have lesser things. So all has to depend on where you live. Then when you find them at the contributory family, they are there to help parents. For example, when they're going through a marital crisis, like a divorce, they're fighting too much and they want a remedy before maybe divorce come in a separation, you can also go to the consultorium. And then that is the main job that they do. And then let's say also couple that have children and then they are going through misunderstanding and a whole lot of things also. That is the main place, and that is what they do. They can also maybe speak with a teenager that is going through maybe teenage pregnancy or something like that. Maybe they want to go on in abortion or something. They would help them to understand the importance of giving birth and maybe the importance of that child, and they will try to talk to the person one way or the other. And then when you find them at the hospital as well, maybe they are helping the families that have old age people or maybe children that have problems, or they deal with situation like children being abandoned at the hospital, but probably they have a parent that went home and is living in that same city. So as we know, in Italian, it's residenza. So the mother has that residence at the residing permit of that place, let's say in Ancona. And then the mother goes to the hospital, leaves the child at the hospital. So the work of the social worker is to help the nurses or the doctors in charge to reach the mother, know why the child has been abandoned there, and then speak with that mother or that father to know the whereabouts or how it all happened. So depending where you find yourself, is where like what the social worker does. Whether the hospital, the commune, or the consultorio, they differ in their work that they do. And if you find them maybe at a camp as well, like people that are seeking for asylum protection as well, it's also differ. They'll have help them to build up their case, and then based on that, they will know which help to give onto that person. So these are the works where you can find a social worker.
I remember when I was pregnant with my first child. Of course, I didn't know that the social worker or the consultorial are there for those. Until the second baby, I met a woman at the hospital where we were all going to have some blood tests. And she said, if you need help, you can go to your consultorial. So she showed me where she goes, and I went there. And actually, they were so much of a help. They will book even your appointment for you. They will give you the first aid that you need as a pregnant woman. Then tell you, go here, go there. They will give you the forms for you to go and book your appointment. Sometimes they themselves at the office will even book it for you. But we didn't know they were all under social workers. We thought it is the commune who is just offering. So let me ask, is it like a walk-in? You can just walk in and say, this is my problem. Which channel do we pass to get to the social worker?
Okay, there are spontaneous requests that is like you just walk in and then maybe you go to commune and then you don't even know that commune is where you have to go. Maybe you want like a backup for like a couple backup or help, and then you go to commune and they will tell you to go to the consultorium. Or maybe you find yourself at the consultorium and then you need an assistant to maybe a couple crisis. You are at the right place. So that's when they would accept you and then talk with you. If they have an appointment, they will tell you, okay, maybe come back in an hour time or 30 minutes. Or if there is another colleague, you just send it to the other colleague so that you speak to them about it. So it can be spontaneous, or because maybe a school has called to alert that maybe your child is being abandoned or something like that, then that one will be called upon to come. Or maybe you have been reported, then you have to go because you have to answer to it so that this should show the seriousness, they get to know about you. So this is how it can be spontaneous or by call or by sentence, like a judicial sentence.
Wow, wow. You can continue.
Okay, so as well as we're talking about the consultory, the reason why they can book your appointments and all that is that the social worker is not against the person, but it's for the people, the community, and the children, especially the children, because they are targeted as vulnerable people that need help. So if the parents are not being proactive or their parents are not being there for them, then they need someone else to come in, as the article 4 says about that. So that is why you see mostly that they are on children and children, but it's not only the children. It can be the parents, it can be the family or the community that needs assistance to do better. Let's say, for example, the Rome community, Romani. So these people, they need some help and all that, so they come in to help the whole of the community. So then we talk about the children's rights. There are some laws that talks about the children being helped in the family. Article 4 from the 83 tells us that it says the children should have the opportunity to grow in their family. So that shows how essential it is for the state. It's not like the state wants to take every child from his or her parents. No, there are so many of children that are living with maybe single mother or single father that they have lived from when they were giving birth to 18 years or even being themselves and then living on their own. So it's not like the state wants to take children, because each and every child that the state takes them to a secure place, you have to pay around 100 euros based on where you are in the cost of living a day. So just imagine if they are in the house, they don't even spend more than like 100 euros a day, just to say. So it costs a lot, so we should have this in mind. And as well, it says that the lifestyle of the parent shouldn't be a hindrance to the growth of that child. And the child living in his father or his mother's house, the family house, should not be excluded because maybe he chooses to be like maybe a sexual orientation or a religion that he wants to believe or something, or because of his lifestyle that he wants to live. I'm saying this again, that the child living with his mother or his father has the right to live there, and then also to decide on what sexual orientation to choose, and then the religion. So I'm saying this because let's say for our community it could be some way, so that you know how to train up your child. Because if this law is there and your child chooses maybe a different sexual orientation than what we are used to or what is right to us, and you say that, oh, because of that, I want to do something with my child, I want to have my child or throw my child away or whatever thing that you want to do, you should know that the child is being protected and then he has the right to choose. So then comes in, as the Bible would say, that train up the child the way he should go, so that when he grows, he will not depart from it. Then comes the responsibility of the mother or the father to train up the child the right way. Because if they are not trained up the right way, and then at the end of the day, they choose, like for example, that sexual orientation have to do with it. You have to bear them so they get of age to live on their own. So this is very, very important for us to let them know the values, the importance of what we believe in or what they should believe in that is right for them. So the training is very much important as with this law says. And then it says also that in case the parents can't take care of the child, then the institution, that could be the lawyer, that could be the judicial people, that could be the social workers, they come in to help. So it could be help for maybe housing. That's why people go to the communion. We shouldn't go to the communion to lie because maybe you want a house. If you are not in need of it, don't go there because as you are going there, you can't keep on lying and you can't keep on covering yourself. At the end of the day, they see that you are inconsistent. It's also another aspect of like inability as a parent. So please, if you need it, then you should know that it is the right of the child to live in a good condition. And then the condition of maybe poverty that in Europe is very difficult to really point out what difficulty is. It depends on, it's like a personal thing. So as you say that you are in need of the house, be sure that you are really in need of it, and insist that as it is the right of the child by the law for state, that is why I am coming to you. So as you know your rights and when you are going, at the end of the day, you will be able to achieve the house because that is the need that you have. And at the end of the day, there is every evidence that shows that you can't make it. So you need that assistance. Or maybe you go there with your bulletin and then you say that, oh, I need this help. Already, a column, an archive will be open. Not say that, oh, this parents came here because they needed this. And they will have to verify because if they are just giving money out anyhow, there won't be money enough to help the other people that are really in need. So that's why you see that with the assistance challenge, you will have to go through for lucky. That's like interview talking to one person or the other, and then over and over because they need details. The first time you come, they don't know anything about you. At least they talk for an hour by getting some details. You have to come again, and then they follow up. So at the end of the day, when they see that that need is really true, then comes in where they would help you out with that kind of need. So please, mothers and fathers out there, don't go to the assistant sociale or the places that they are found to lie. Because at the end of the day, just that little thing you said that wasn't true, that you don't have enough evidence to back it up, could turn into something else. Because, for example, there was a case, I'm bringing in a case to support this, that the mother go to a place and say that, oh, my husband has abandoned us, it doesn't want to have anything to do with us and us. And then at the end of the day, they believe in it. Maybe they give you 50 euros. You might think, oh, you'll be rejoicing about it. Then the next minute, they see you together with the husband. And then even, especially with the children, then it gets inside them that you are training them badly. So then, at the end of the day, they have to protect these children. So then comes in this right of the child, because we said lifestyle shouldn't influence their growth, and they have to live with their parents and their fathers. So if also these things are happening, then it's an evidence that you can be a good mother or you can be a good father.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Thank you so much, Lady Manu. She said our lifestyle as parents shouldn't affect the growth of the children we are raising. And she hammered on one thing as parents. She's telling us that the children have their rights. The law is for the children. And so what we are supposed to do as parents is to raise them as godly seed. I believe we are talking to Christians, and so as godly seed that they are supposed to be, so that they will not go wayward, so that they will not tend to have the sexual orientation that we wouldn't want them to have, so that they will not go into things that we don't want them, so that they will not have behaviors that will affect them in the future. The laws are for the kids. They allow them to do what they want to do. So our behaviors as children should not prevent them from, like, this is serious. As Lady Manola was talking, she said we should not go and lie. Sometimes we are only focused on what we are getting from them, and so we think putting in more sugar or more pepper will let them give us the help that we need, but we forget that they are penning everything down. And as she mentioned, a file has been opened for you, so you can't come today and say one thing and another time you try to cancel it, or it is still there waiting for you. So if you say you need a house, of course, if you need a house, it will be obvious that you need a house. But don't go and say, I'm a single parent, I'm not together with my partner, and so I need your help. And then they give you the house. Then after 3 months, your husband, the same one you said you were not with, or your wife, the same one you said you are not with, is still living in the house with you. I have seen cases, I've met parents who have done that, and they have houses, and I ask, so when will you be able to continue with that? Of course, they might have their own way of going about it, but for how long? We have had cases where we have been at the court translating, and it has to do with the minor, and they favor the children. They favor the children. And so we know parents don't want to do harm to their children. They want the best. We want the best for our children. But our attitude towards them is also very, very important. We have learned on this show that children watch what we do. That is what sinks into their spirit more. Not what we say, but what we do is what they want to do. Wow. Lady Manola, thank you so much for hammering this as parents to us, for us to raise our kids very well. And should in case they decide that this is what they want to do, you back them with prayer. And we know God Almighty will do something about it. But you don't force, because if they get into the hands of the social worker, then it becomes a different case. Wow. You can continue for us, please.
Okay, so as you also said that aspect of it, the child is watching. So whatever that you say, if they really want to find out the truth, whether you are covering it with whatever thing, it will come out, especially when you have a child, because they will give the child to speak through their way of talking to adults. That is through the psychologists and all that, and they work with also the health professionals. That could be the pediatrician, the psychologist, and all of those people. So when the child is being asked to maybe say something and then they start conversing with that child, they just give the pen and then a paper or something. Just from that writing or that drawing, they would find a whole lot of things. And then they put it together with yours. And they know that the children are very spontaneous, they are very open spirits and all that. So they would believe yes, and then start to compare it to what you're saying. So that aspect of the lying should really, really parents, please, I'm begging you, because at the end of the day, when you start up with that, your case becomes very confusing, and seeing that each thing that you do with a social worker goes a process to a process, they get fed up, or they get to understand that no, there is something going that is not right. So through some way, they try to find out the truth, but still they're keeping it away. But the necessary things has to be done. So please, parents, it's very, very, very important. And then how can a child be removed from this of a parent?
Yeah.
The aspect of it is transportator physical. So being neglected physically, they are parents. Maybe it is summertime, you are wearing them winter dresses, and then the dresses, they are not appropriate, their hair is just like all over the place, their face like mad everywhere. It's just like you can see when you know that someone is being abandoned, you know it. So that physical aspect is also important. That doesn't mean that you should just go to the shop, buy something of 50, 60 euros. No. Them being very presentable, neat and accurate. Also dressing them by the weather. They go summer dressing. If it is winter, it's not like you're dressing them all over sleep, like you just wake them out from the bed and then you just put anything and then you left them at the pool. And then also the way that they grow as well is very important. When they know that this child is malnutrited, they know it, that this child is not eating well, or they're not giving the child food and all that. And then as well, it can be also maltreatment. And then when it comes to the maltreatment, you can find it like physically. When there are too much marks on the child, then they would find out. And then maybe also their dressing is not good, their health and all that aspect. There are many details that show that this child is being abandoned. Then they have to call the mother or the father to verify what they are saying. Really, it is true. They can also get in touch with the pediatrician or the doctor of that child to know that, okay, since you have more knowledge on this aspect, what do you see here? What can you tell us? Is it what we are thinking, or is just the child that is as it is? Or is it something that the child did to him or himself? Maybe he jumped on the wall and then he fell down or something. What do you have on your table? Then they will compare it and then know that is there any case that is against the child or everything is okay. So these details also are very important.
Let me quickly ask before you go on. So with the scenario you are making now, can they do all that without the knowledge of the parents? Can they do those things back at the back door without you not knowing? Like going to the pediatrician, finding out about the child and all that.
Ethically, it is wrong because they have to pass through each and every, they have to pass through the parents. But then it can be something very alarming. They see that maybe you are not collaborating, maybe they want to talk to you, or you come to the school, you are very aggressive, you are not someone that they can communicate with, or one way or the other, then it could happen. Then before they would come to you to ask you, because they have to be careful of what they say. So then they would, but mostly maybe it's more on the teachers in the nursery schools and then the primary schools that will do that. They want to know from maybe the pediatrician and all that. But ethically and the right thing to do is to first consult the parents, first to ask the parents what's wrong, why do we see this, that the child is not well dressed, why is that the child seems like underweight or something is not going well. And then if they have what they are looking at, fine. If not, they will ask maybe to talk to the pediatrician, or if they don't want to go through all of this, they just handle it to a social worker to handle it. That could be the commune. If it's just a single parent living with a child, if it has to do with a couple and then they see that you are always aggressive and all that, so maybe you have some also more treatment like a physical things on your body as well, then they will go to the assistente social in the consultorio familiare. So that is how it goes.
So we know that they can't just take you to it shouldn't be unknowingly. At least you will have some signals or you'll be informed. That is what we want to establish here. Okay.
Yeah. And then the training of the children is very important because sometimes you go on to say that, in abroad, those children born here, you don't have to do anything. If not, they will call the police. It's a lie. Train up the child the way, the values that you believe, because the child, as the psychologist will say, they're like an empty box. You just have to fill them. You have to fill them up, and then by the environment that they live, they become. So we should let our environment be very good for our children to live in, and then we should train them what is wrong should be wrong, what is right. The child should know that this is right, so that at the end of the day, when they grow, they know already. They have a solid base. Okay, there is this example of a friend of mine that also allowed me many years that I could talk about it whenever the need arises. So the mom and the father tried everything to train up the child the way that it should go. But this child said, no, I just want to live my life. So at the point, he just thought, okay, I could call the police people to say a whole lot of things and then they would just take me out of the house and then I'll be free. But the child had a solid foundation. The mom and the dad were on this child to train. This is wrong. This is good. When you go out, come in this way. Set limits. In training a child, especially in Europe, you should set limits to the child. You shouldn't be there like you can do anything and you can do everything. It's not wrong when you're training up a child, giving them that, okay, this is your limit. They like it and then they love it because when you do this, it will take a whole lot of problems from the state. It will take a whole lot of work from the social worker. Okay, so going back to the case, then the child reported, the police people came there because there were some marks on the child. They did so much that at the end of the day, out of frustration, the parents just beat this child unnecessarily, and then there were a whole lot of money. And as a Ghanaian parent, it just was like, yeah, I know my rights, I'm not come to dictate what I have to do and all that. It was more like aggressive and very, yes, I am the child, like I am the father of this child, so you can't tell me what to do. So based on that, they took out the child and then they asked her, do you want to go or do you want to stay? And he was like, no, I want to go out. I don't want to be here. I have had enough of this family and all that. So they took the child out, but he was around 16, 17 years. So at the end of the day, when they took out the child, he went to where the children can be located. That could be comunidad, peracolienta. It could be also like as a form of a family house as well. He got there and saw that it was better to live with the mom and the dad because at least he had more attention, he had a better education and all that. When the child came out, she knew that wow, this like there isn't much better thing in that place than my house. My house is far better. I thought there was something more than this, but actually there isn't. So the child came out better because at least in there he had the opportunity to be with the whites, he had the opportunity to go to different programs, to educate, to better education and all that kind of things. So that was the only better thing that the child had. But on other things, it was very worse. So the child said, if I didn't have this education from my parents, I don't know what would have come up of me. I would have come out maybe drug addict or alcoholism or one thing to the other. So this to tell us that we should train up the child very well. Tell them that where they are going, they are not going to have their mother or their father that will be on their case trying to put them right and all that. It's going to be worse than where they are living. So they should try their best to learn what you are telling them. And if they do that, it's going to be a help for every one of us.
So in this case, how did it end? When the child realized that, okay, I'm mistaken, I think I felt better. It's better to stay home than to live in this community. Would the parents be allowed to have their child back?
Okay, with the case, because it was almost like to being 18 years,
18.
to be before, it was in the same city. So at the end of the day, when it was 18, he just came home and then told the family and then apologized and all that because it was just going to pass out a few years and then it was going to come out. But if a child, when a child is being taken or the child maybe expresses his want that he wants to leave the family and then he's being taken out, the parents have like at least to a year that they can reach out, try every possible best to have back what they lost. Maybe let's say the child was taken from the parents because he wasn't well catered for, maybe physically, psychologically, emotionally. Then the parents have this that they could reacquisire la autorità genitoriale, or that they have to regain this, they would have sostegno genitoriale. So that one is the consultorio that does it. They will tell you, okay, you know that your child was taken because you weren't feeding the child well. You know your child was taken because you were just saying depriving things to the child. You're saying that, oh, you can't do anything, you are less inferior and all that kind of thing. So they will list everything to you. If you're able to back up, accept that, okay, this is what I did wrong, this is what I did wrong, and you show the willingness that you can do better as a parent, you have one day that you can have the child back. Yes, it's possible. And there have been cases that people have gotten back their children. There is also the reason that made the child to go there. Okay, with this, I come to the abuse. When you have especially this sexual abuse, that one, it's very, very, very difficult that the child will come back to the house because you're talking about the sexual abuse that it will take a very long time for the child to be able to come to him or herself. And then it also depends. Maybe the father abused the child sexually, but the mom wasn't aware, or the mom wasn't backing up the husband. Then that one, you as a mother, you have set aside. And then the only person that would be deprived for a while to see the child is the husband. So the husband's case is like, it's very rare that you're going to see the child. Unless maybe the child says, okay, now I want to see my father. If you want to see his father, it's not just like you take the child and then you meet his father. No, it has to go through this way. Maybe a phone call, whilst there is one of the workers at the center very present as the child talks to the father, because he could maybe you could threaten the child, you could do do something that would hurt the child in one way or the other. So the court comes in the presence of a second party. And then if they see that everything is okay and the child asks that they want to see the father physically, after they've seen that everything went on with the phone call, then they will do un encontro protector. So in that encontro protector, the psychologist is going to be there. If there is a need for a translator, then the translator also would be there. Then maybe if you want to see both parents would also be there. And then the social worker also would be there. So everything that is going to go on, then the social worker will write it and send it back to the judge. And then the judge, based on that, will know the way forward. If everything is okay, maybe with 3 or 4 in conflict with deadly, then maybe the child could maybe go out with the father or something. But it's very, very rare that this thing will happen. But if it is maybe a physical abuse, it could be that the child would be allowed to go out with the parents for some hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes, or maybe be with a third party as well. So this is how it goes. It doesn't just come all of a sudden. Maybe if it is negligence that maybe leave the child at home and then something happened or the police is being called on and then they come and not around, that one is not really, in as much as it is difficult, it's not that pericoloso. It's not that dangerous for you not to have the child back. Yeah, so that one is very flexible. But when we're talking about physical abuse, maltreatment, or sexual abuse, that is very, very, very critical. So that is how it goes.
Wow.
So any and then how it's being handled. So talking about social worker is very and it's very big. And it depends also on the social worker that you meet and where you find yourself.
Wow. I believe that every parent is listening with so much attention, because there are a lot of things. Maybe I would have to ask you, what are some of the things that normally we do at home that is not by law we shouldn't do as parents? Because sometimes we are not aware. Sometimes we don't know that it's not okay, but we still do them. So what are some of the things that, from like a home, mother, father, with children, what are some of the things that as parents, some of the actions or some of the things that we do that are not permissible by law, since we are talking about societal laws and parenting?
I want to take from the first dangerous thing that is not good is sexual abuse. The sexual abuse can be in 3 forms. Maybe letting the child watch a film or something that has to do with so much sexual details. That is not good for the child or the child's age. Let's say generally, that is you have endorsed the child into sexual abuse. Maybe you as a parent having sexual relationship right before the child is known, because the child as an empty box is going to replicate what you saw at school or an open place. That is no. We say that, oh, Europe is free-minded, everyone can do what you want to do. No, with children, they have to be educated. So educate them the right thing to do in public, the right thing to do here, contextually what has to be done, not out of place. So this is very, very important. And also as well, the child should not be abused sexually. Maybe, so as a parent, start teaching them maybe, okay, if someone comes from outside, they shouldn't touch your private places. They shouldn't touch here, they shouldn't touch here, they shouldn't touch there. So as a parent also, maybe if you're helping them to back that area, what, okay, I'm doing this because we should learn to talk more with the parents, African parents, please. But let's be open, talk with the children as well. And then as well, maybe there was a misunderstanding between the couple, the child or the children, you know that they have seen it. They are to some certain age, you should bring them down. And then you talk to them, okay, there was something that happened, it's not good, and then we're not going to do it again. To them in a way that they understand. If not, they're going to take that aggressiveness outside them. Especially maybe the father also maybe was a bit angry because the wife maybe agitated him or something. Take out the child, let the child know, so that it doesn't go up. Maybe you have a boy, it doesn't go up to think that, okay, I have to
beat
do this.
the wife is okay.
Then correction. It's not like against the law, and because you just did that, someone is going to carry your child. No. And then there have been so many homes with these things happening that their case has not been assigned to the social worker. So they are still living in these things. It's very bad and it's not helping the child. If we continue with this, we're going to have young children outside there shooting and doing a whole lot of things, or at the end of the day, they're going to commit suicide or one thing to the other. That is why children are mostly taken from their parents because of these things. Also, lying in the presence of the child. Maybe let's say it escaped you. Take that, oh, mommy today just exaggerated.
African parents. So if somebody knocks and you say, tell the person I'm not at home. You are telling your child to tell the visitor you are not at home, but the child is also watching up. Mommy, why do you say you are not at home if you are in the bedroom? We have to be careful as African parents. And one thing you said, our aggressiveness. And with the translation, like the few times we've been with them, our way of narrating issues are somehow.
Yeah.
We are not consistent, and they seem, when they hear we talking, are we thinking about what you are saying? Are you thinking? But we don't realize it. I think I don't know whether it's an African thing, but our way of narrating something that's happened is somehow we are not able to be consistent. So what did you see? What happened? Or what is your relationship with this? He said, everything is okay between us. There's nothing. But there is something. That is what has brought you there. So you need to talk. But we tend to either we want to cover up or we don't want to say much. But our way of narrating issues are very, very serious. And then our actions, as Lady Manuela has said, don't lie before your child. I think most of us are very guilty about this. It seems like it's nothing, but our children are watching. And thank God they will tell you just there, they will let you know that you said something that you were not supposed to say, or you did something that you were not supposed to do. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, because I believe that one thing could lead to the other thing.
When you were talking about sexual abuse, you said that is a very serious one, that your child can be taken away from you. And I want to ask, is it because it happened, or the perpetrator is from the family, or even when it is from somebody outside, your child can still be taken away from you?
If it's from outside, how did the person get into that family house? If it's happening in the house, it has to go through the process. How did the person happen? And if they see that, okay, one party was more favorable to this person or that, then they have to try to isolate that person. But there was first, if there is time and then the child is not going through many psychological things that she needs to change environment and all that, they would take the person away from that child. They will isolate that person. So if let's say an uncle or an auntie or something, they would restrict that person not to see the child or get close to the child anywhere, whether school or whatever place. But if it's in the family, and then it also has to do with how maybe because it happens. Even we had a case where the mother doesn't want the father to leave the house because that's the only way that they could isolate that person. So they believe that, okay, let the child be with the mom since it's the dad that did this, but she doesn't want. Okay, now you mother.
So a wife is choosing a husband over the child.
Yeah, it doesn't want the child to leave. It doesn't want the husband to leave the house.
But the husband is the perpetrator of the act.
But sometimes also we don't understand how serious things are. We just say some things lightly or they're very light. Why is it that you as a child you want to take my husband away from me? Like you see that thing. And sometimes with the love and sometimes I wouldn't express myself and also the love and all that. Because sometimes it's very difficult for a child to open up to the mom or the dad because mostly sexual abuse happens. Though it can also come from the mother, but sometimes highly it's from the father though. But if a child open up to one parent and say, do you know that my dad did this to me? Instead of the mom to do something or the dad to do something, they just cover up for that other party. That's also very serious. So sometimes these things also happen and then they want to, like a double monsieur, like things will happen to us and we just have to cover it up so that for the shame of the family and everything. But no, it's not good to say let that person be set aside, but for the better of that child,
That child.
let it happen. If not, they would also suggest, based on maybe you have work to do and all that, they could also suggest that you leave the house with the child.
Okay.
Or they would take you and then the child to a community. But for the comfort and everything, not to change many things for the child, that's what they would suggest that the party that did that should leave the house. So that the child, at least with everything that he has gone through, being at the place of a home would comfort me a bit. Yeah, so that's why they do this. And another thing that should not be done about when, especially we Africans, we are so afraid is that they will call the police. Okay, I want to talk about this article of the Codice Penal, and that is to say a criminal code. Yeah, so the article 571 says when you abuse the means of correction, then you have to be punished for that. Or with that,
Abusing the means of correction.
yeah. Quindi molto di mezzo di correzione. So let's say, for example, no one says you should beat your child, but they understand that maybe you could just beat the child or you could spank him or her, and then that is it. It ends there. But if you abuse it, how would you abuse it? Maybe by doing that to the child, you make the child go blind, deaf, dumb, something happening, or the child become disabled and all that kind of thing. It means you are irresponsible as a parent. So they have to change the environment for the child. Let's say, for example, it happens that just a mark comes on the child. You take the child to police station and they ask, and then they find out that, oh, I'm very, very sorry, I didn't mean to harm the child. So also learning how to say sorry to the child is very important. Or maybe a social worker or when a help profession come in and then you express how sorry you are, it also can minimize the case or it could help you to still live with your child. They will give you a warning that okay, let it not happen again. If it is that serious, the first thing is to change the
I think we don't know that because with all the cases that I've seen, parents, I think it's our idea, like if I have to accept that I made a mistake, they might go along with whatever decision they want to take. So they never accept before the judge that okay, I made a mistake, so I pardon me, it will not happen. But what they actually try to do is they still defend what they are saying. They still go by what they are saying that the child is wrong and they are right. I've never seen a case where the parent says before the judge, they will ask, but are you sure you never beat, you have never spanked, you have never done that? Are you He said, I didn't do that. The child is lying. I didn't do that. But I know African parents, I know you can spank them sometimes. So just say, yes, I did, but I think I will never do that again. Pardon me. But we never accept. They never accept. I've never seen one where they accept before the judge that they are mistaken and they say sorry. And one thing also that Lady Manuela is talking about is we parents saying sorry to our children.
Yeah, it's very important.
It's
It
very
goes a long
important.
way. Because when you say sorry and then the child has to be taken from you, the child will be taken away from you. But when you say sorry and then they see that there could be room for improvement, then you will have the chance to be with the child. That's why you see some cases, you see some children, they are only living with their, let's say, their grandparents because they've given so much time for this parent and then they couldn't do it. So let's try another people before we take them away from the family.
Okay.
So there is room for improvement and all that. So if we know that okay, it just happened and then I'm very sorry and all that, surely. So you could say maybe let's say for example, I want to give a remedy that's how you can really talk to them. Okay, maybe I spanked the child, I went too far. I know it's against the law that I shouldn't use the means of correction to hurt the child. But please, I should know that it's also to the rights of the child to live in his with his parents and then have all the kind of attention, love, and care. Please give me the second chance to do better as a parent. That's very simple. So you use the same law to ask for another chance, but it's not like you're saying it because I just said this. Someone just uses as a means to do too much. No. But at least when you know that this really went bad, but please don't take my child away from me. Just let them know. Even as they know that it's the right of the child to live with their parents, let them know that, okay, please kindly give me a second chance to do better. And then they would verify and eventually they will leave the child to you. Because when a child is being taken from the parents and it's not sexual abuse, they have time to 1 year to regain back that knowledge or that awareness as a parent to have the child back. So also once you know this, you can use that to get your child back. But please and please, let's know how to talk with them. Let's be also open because the child also could make a case against the parents because maybe thinks that they are not giving him or her money. But he sees you working every time, you don't even have time, you're not resting, you're not even drinking or eating. But you tell me that you don't have money. Therefore, that maybe I'm doing this project back home, I'm helping this person. So this money and all that is not enough for us and all that, but I'm going to make it up to you and all that. It will also help because I also know someone also that the child common socks to wear. The child wasn't happy, but both parents were working and they were having different things and they see them also at church leading prayers, praying for people, testimony and testimony saying that, oh, this man helped me, and then this thing happened. And the child just speaks all about God, about anything that has to do with church because of what he sees in the house, because of what he goes through. Even what the child would eat, the mother or the father won't cater for it. This thing, if the child says that, okay, I'm not being catered for, there are different ways to know that it's really true. Could even do an exams one way or the other, or even as it is your habit, they will set you up and then get you. That is it.
Wow.
So we so be open and then take care of these children that by God's grace we have, and know that if you don't beat the child to let the child maybe collapse or something happen, you can correct the child. Even if it's a small punk, I didn't say it could happen, but it's not said that you shouldn't. You should correct the children, you should educate them. So know that the article 571 is saying that if you use that way of correction, because you have been given the authority to train up the child, and then you hurt the child, then based on how dangerous it is, the child will be taken away from you because it shows that the child is not a secure place and need a place that he or she will be at secure. And then the article 572 also says that you should not also abuse the child just because you are the father or the mother. That doesn't mean that you should abuse the child, beating or sexual harassment or any kind of form. So based on these two things that maybe when a child calls, then the parents are afraid that they will do something. No, nothing. There isn't a law that says that a child should call the parents and then the parents will be taken away because they corrected them on one way or the other. No, because even the place that they're taking the children to are places that they will give them limits. They don't do anything much than teaching them how to wash dishes, how to wash their own clothes, organize their rooms, how to cook, how to interact with people, how to be able to bring their contribution, helping them with psychological, maybe thinking, maybe elaborating something that they went through, if it's sexual abuse, giving them much training, education, and all that to know that what you went through is wrong, but unfortunately, you were being subjected to it. So helping the child to come out of this thing.
I believe that even with a child who is thinking, I want to go out, my parents doesn't allow me, even there is a limit to what time you can stay out.
Yeah, sure. And even if that doesn't happen, the parents will also have a problem that you allowed your child to be out there and then this will happen. So that's also the child could be taken away from you. So here the thing is just train your child what is right to do, what is no, what is right. Let them have the way to express themselves so that when they express wrong, you can correct them that okay, what you said is good, but this and that should be taken out. Or when you're in public, do this, do that. For example, they will tell you that okay, don't eat with left hand. Don't greet with left hand, it's our manners at where we are coming from and all that. We could also maybe he's greeting with left hand, we say okay, we don't greet with left hand because on this, on that. But here it can happen because you should let them have the
reason
especially
why.
we Africans. We should be able, like there are some parents also, their children are reporting them because they never have them, they never say good things about them, they never say congratulations or even happy birthday, sing it to them, surprising them, nothing. They think their parents are so wicked and they keep on saying that my parents is this and that. What happened? Maybe because when they come to pick them up from school, they never hug them, they never take them out, they never take them outside. So all of these things, at least the better things that we see here, we should try to make it ours and then leave it out.
Wow, wow. Let me take some comments from Facebook so that you can also take a breather. Thank you so much, Our Lady Manuela. You are doing so well. I have a mommy Tando watching. Thank you so much, mommy. Everyone watching, thank you so much for your time. We are so much grateful to have you. We have Mr. Zikene says, wow, 30 people, yes. That is the number of people Our Lady Manuela, how they are helping them in their career and all that. How do you raise the funds? Yeah. My husband is asking how you are able to raise funds for the people that you are, the work that you are doing. It's the social workers are for us, not against us. Yes, we it's difficult for us to believe that they are friends because all that we knew is that when you meet them, they are taking your children away from you. But I believe through such sessions like this, we are all learning and we will do the right thing. We will raise our children the way they should go. We have our mommy Tana says, Lord have mercy. Oh, yes, mommy. Lord have mercy on us. So Mrs. Kenny says, when it comes to when can they use this right? Mercy, Lord. He also says Africans and greed. Yes. When they say it is money being given to us, we want to grab them all. And so we want to pile up lies upon lies for them to give us the money. But they will open a file. When you go for one colloquy, everything you say is there. So you can't come back and change your narration. It says dressing by the weather. Yes, they watch all those things, but we don't know. And so if your child is going to school, make sure you do the right thing. And the issue is you are not doing it for people or for them to know that you are a good parent. But naturally, as a parent, I don't know, but I think all parents try their best anyway. His mama Tano says, Akosi Boni takes everything into consideration. Oh. We take things for granted. Mommy. It's very, very, it's serious. You bore your own child, but it's not only yours. It's for the state, it's for the whole community. God help us. Children are empty boxes ready to be filled. That stays in Suspenning. Thank you so much. It says, wow, praise be to our God. Martha says, ignore things about your kids will definitely come against us. Lord, help us to shine our eyes well. Thank you so much. It says, sexual abuse in the home. Unfortunately, it is happening. It is happening. African parents. Martha says, we normally say they don't have good morals, but see how laws protect children with sex abuse, and we will cover it all, cover the expenses of the future of the child. It's serious. It sounds like European laws are so spiritual as scripture. It sounds like the European laws are so spiritually scripture. Yes, I'm
Yes.
impressed. True. Thank you so much, Lady Efiachiwa. Thank you for watching. Say hello, lady. Say hello to you too. So it's going to say you are right. Criminal code abusing means of correction, abusing the means of correction. Article 57 it says, Oga, actively be favorable to us. So we ask for God for help. Where African parents showing love does not come easily. That is why we are learning. We should show. That is why we are learning. Through sessions like this, we all come together. We learn from each other. The able people who come on the show give us the insight on how to deal with our children in various ways. And one of it, as we are speaking about, is showing love to our children. Saying sorry when you need to.
Yeah.
Encourage them because they need it so much. It is so important. Okay, we have our lady Ernestina on YouTube. It says, in our culture, parents never go wrong. It's only a child who can go wrong. Parents don't even say sorry. May God deliver us. Sis, you can say that again. May God deliver us. Because saying sorry is so hard. It makes us feel as if we are less of. But I think it gives some confidence to the children that when they are also okay, mommy too can make a mistake. That means when I make a mistake, I can really tell mommy that I also made a mistake rather than hiding it. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, our lady Ernestina, for also sharing in the comment section. Lady Emanuela, we watch a video together as and the scenario is a bit questioning. And this is also a caution to us all as parents or those of us who make use of the social media, that there can be cases out there, somebody might narrate it, but may not be true, entirely true, what you hear there. Because we had a case, I think Lady Manola will give us more detail about the case. And some of the things I will ask, like, is it possible for a social worker to give a phone to my son or my daughter and they keep it in the house and see, like, film mommy what she does, that she goes away during the night? Lady Mona, can you take us to that case, and then if I have any question, I'll ask you about that. Thank you so much.
Okay. So before the COVID, there wasn't something like a technology thing because they believe that there could be someone spying or maybe a third party present in the house where they are not invited to listen to what is going on, or maybe a child listening to the conversation of what is happening between the parents. So just with the COVID, then it was allowed that they could do an interview online. And then even when they are doing that, they have to make sure that they go around, make sure that the kids maybe are not around or like there is no one present there. So a third party can't come in just like that. And then as well, when the mom is also, or they want to talk to the child, the mom has to be aware. Ethically, that is how it has to go. But based on what the woman said, we don't know how it is. But I consulted two at least social workers and they said no, it's wrong and it's against our ethics. So no one in any way should do that. And they don't even have phones available to say that okay, a child, just let's hide and then do this. It's wrong because they have to write to the judge. And the judge also is there to help enforce the rights of the child. So it just can't happen. What could maybe happen is that the child videos some things and then show it at school that okay, this is what has been going on. But a social worker to just have an interview with a child is ethically wrong. It shouldn't happen in any way. Yeah, it shouldn't happen. So the details they are mix of information. It's not complete.
Because this lady was narrating a story where a child reported the parents to the teachers about what is going on. Of course, what the mother was doing was not okay because the child said, my mom always, like they were in school talking about bedtime stories and all that. And it came up that the child said, my mommy is never at home at night. She always goes out. And sometimes different men come to the house and you don't know what she does with the men in the room. And so the person narrating the story said they gave a phone to the child, and then for 3 consecutive nights, they had to let the child film at a particular time in the night to verify if the mother is at home or not. That is why I said, is it possible they can give a child a phone to film and like take the camera all the rooms in the house to verify if the mom is in the house or she's not in the house, or so that they will use it as a proof? Can they use a child as what the child will show to them as a proof? Or I know everything they do, they will alert you that this is what might happen or this is what we have seen, and so you know it before it will happen. That is what I'm asking. Is it possible? Can they give your child a phone? And then the woman said something like, we should also be careful leaving our children on catered for. Like you leave them and then you go away without anybody around in the night. And the mother had a companion. So what was the outing every night, which means she was a night worker or something like that. With this, obviously, as the woman narrated, the children will be taken away from you. Lady Manuela, what can you say about that?
Yeah, it can fall in negligence, you leaving the child at home and then also your responsibility as a parent. Because if you're a single parent, you should try at least maybe having a babysitter or something. If really you have a good work join, have a babysitter or maybe living at someone that you can really trust. Because there was also a case that the woman said that he left for one person and then at the end of the day, the person also maltreated the child. And anyways, the child was taken away from this mother. So you have to be also careful who you leave the child to, but at least get someone to be with the child whilst you are away. So at the end of the day, because you don't know what will happen, that is the thing. And if a social worker should be elected about such a thing, they have 24 hours to act. But coming onto the story, it's not ethically wrong. It can happen. I'm saying ethically because you can hear so many other things. If really we hear from the child, and we know that what he's saying, maybe the person went against ethics, but ethically it can't happen in any way like that. And also the act of the child being left there also means that the child has been abandoned. So it means that you don't see the value of the child. Then the child has to be at a place where he will be valued or his right will be given unto him or her to live out his best of life. So that is why, especially this child was taken away. And then if you are not around and you're absent, it happens also, it's called something like patrocento threat. So that patrocento threat, the autorita, it can be maybe a police person or something, when they are being elected that okay, in this house, maybe by neighbors, or it can also be that maybe a teacher or something. If anyone elects them and then they come and then they act in that way, it's called the patrocento threat. That one, anything can happen. You can just take the child and then set the child at a first place that could be available and secure for the child. So that's what can happen in these cases. But for the phone thing and anything, it's ethically wrong. It can't happen that way. Unless maybe the child to okay, this is a video that I have to show that what I'm saying and I'm
It's
telling my
true.
teachers that they're not taking me serious. This is what has been happening. Then they can maybe wait in the evening, obviously the police because they work 24 hours. But there are some also places also that I learned that recently they started working at night where there are cases of people working on the streets and all that. So they have also social workers that do shift and then they work during from midnight to morning. Yeah, but it is very rare and it's just recently that I heard of it, like a month or two ago that this thing started. That is not anywhere. But the people that could act at midnight or something like this is the police, maybe okay, they heard something going on here, there are children in this house, you verify everything. And if they come and there are evidence of what would let a child be taken away from the parents, then they will act on it. And then comes in the social worker will also be elected, and then the judge also. But the social worker herself cannot just wake up and then take the child away. They always need a letter from the judge that says that this child by this thing and that thing, verify and see if it is true. And if it is true, this is what we have to do. So it all goes through the judge. But unless, as I said, the apprehension threat, that is the child is in, maybe sexual abuse, is in some critical condition, then that one, the police or something could act very fast on that. Then the social worker will also be alerted. But if it's let's say in the morning and then they have to take the child away, and then there are some forces or something like that, resistance from the parents and all that, yeah, surely then maybe the social worker will also be available with the police to do because they don't know what could happen when the child is being taken away from the parents. So they will come together, take the child to the secure place. If they are still resisting, then from that time also they will lose their ability as parents. So that is what could also happen here.
Wow, wow. I believe that we are learning so much and it's going to help us all as parents. It's difficult, but you still have to learn, you still have to do something about it. As we have known from the laws that Lady Manuela is stating, the laws favors the children. They are ours, as I said, but they are not entirely ours because There are even countries where when your child does not go to school for 3 days, the police will come to the house and come and ask, because the school will alert them, or they will alert the social workers that this baby has not been in school for this number of days. So I think here in Italy we are even a little bit safer. But in other countries it is worse. Wow, wow, wow. Our time is so far gone. I believe Lady Manola is surely coming back, because we have much more to talk about. We are all learning. We might have to take some cases and then go through what will happen in such cases. If you have any question, please, I urge you to send it to us, because our Lady Manola is surely coming to give us more information about these societal laws in parenting, especially. Yeah. Thank you so much, Lady Manuela. Thank you so much, also our wonderful viewers. I would also want to ask you for you to give us your last word before we round up everything. Your last words, please, Lady Manuela.
And so we should, as we all said, we should be very careful what we do at home, because your children are watching, and we shouldn't be afraid that maybe a police will come in when the child will be taken away from. So our focus is just on that child. Oh, if I do this, the child, no. Know that you should educate the child, and even the state, everyone is looking up to you that you educate your child better. Let the children know that their home is the most secure place that they could be. And even if they want to make a case against you, after you've done everything, it will go against them rather, because they will go out there and see that there is nothing better outside, but rather the secure place is their home to be. So also the parents should be also united. They should live at peace. They should do every possible best to be with their spouse, not to live separately, because that also go against the children.
Wow. Thank you so much. You have heard it all. She rounded it up so well for you to know the vital things that you need to do as parents. I think she has said it all, and all that I will say is we will all learn. Don't take this video for your own self alone. Please share with somebody. If you need to go over the laws that she mentions and what we do and all that, you can still come back and watch. You can send it to anybody who is the parent who you think it can be of a help to. We want to say that thank you so much for always spending time with us, always showing up when we are here. We can't take you for granted at all. I want to say a very big thank you also to our Lady Manuela. Thank you so much. We know you have much to do, but you decided to take a little of your time to share this knowledge with us, and we are so much grateful for you. We also want to say thank you to your family, your husband, for allowing you to come and share with us. Our sincere gratitude also unto him. Fellow viewers, we thank you so much. We say that this is the Inside Studios. This is the Virtuous One, where we learn, where we unlearn, and we relearn. Know that God is the ultimate. We say that we study here to show ourselves approved. And so what we would like to tell you is that be the best you can be and take one day at a time. God richly bless you. Bye for